Welcome, welcome to my lovely HP community and the 5D collective. We're going to continue chit chatting today about our lovely Dharma community. So, those of you who have integration of the brain or want it bilateral, vertical, overall, and in fact, you also do know that pursuing your inner well being, mental, emotional, and physical mastery, and being you means thriving. Motivational wisdom. We chit chatted a little bit about this and that. And if you're new, the inner well being means you take healing trauma seriously, which is why you are a securely attached, non traumatized person or getting there. So you don't complain about thoughts or emotions being hard. Anyone who complains about it doesn't really enjoy a person such as myself because they don't know how it feels to be in ventral energy and they think it's one emotion. Personally, I don't try to prove shit because that's only if I were an academic, which I chose not to be, that I would be bothered with it. And when people use stereotypes, generalizations, and then they make blanket statements, I really find it hard to believe. No, I don't. I don't enjoy stupidity. Time is of the essence. It isn't about money, although I know we all make money. It is about life. And since I was a kid, I have nowhere that I want to be, and that's in good company, which here it is. So, there it is. When you are an inner child adult and you're open hearted and you have a good time, that's because you get lucky, is what I'm going to leave it at, because that helps anybody like a Zen master who doesn't know how to do it to feel better, at least a little bit. And for those who say, yeah, what do you think? You're perfect? No, perfection actually doesn't exist. However, perfection does exist when you have healthy self-worth, empowered human being, man, woman, they don't matter, but they know how to speak. Authenticity, transparency. It isn't challenging for me. It's a breath of fresh air when you meet the mastered physical, emotional, mental human being, which doesn't mean that they have no flaws. No, we are all crooked. We are all sinners. Difference is some of us choose kindness again and again and again. It means you stay open-hearted, or you get open-hearted as an inner child who's a functional child adult. So you don't need Terry or Patrick Tian to learn to love yourself first. You also don't need them to be aware, accountable, and regulate when your child parts and shit comes up, because you don't throw it at people. So you're aware of your history. It means you're grounded in reality. So yeah, I come with history. It's not baggage though. Although there are those who will have said as a teenager that marriage is a bag and a chain, or a chain and a ball and a chain. And that everybody has baggage on who's going to take me with the baggage I have. And oh, I've never had that ever in my brain. So I'm going to allow you to understand. I share with you my 5D mystic in the enlightenment soul age group functional child adult experience, because human, spiritual, and spirituality elements, I bring them together to talk also about human evolution and consciousness and expansion. And yes, I'm a channeler, I'm a downloader, I'm an Akashic record reader, I'm an intuitive, and we bring it all in. And right now I'm also mixing it up, so you can expect me to use some of my lovely tarot oracle cards, and that's because this one is really special. So is Dharma, and those who do karma and have their fate, yes, rewrite the stars. Why don't we rewrite? I really don't have anything to say to people who are emotionally, mentally, and physically lazy. As Patrick Tian would point out when he tells his community, the cowards are bountiful. Don't let them tease you about you healing your trauma. And that is exactly why I support Patrick Tiahan. I support all the smart mental health professionals and the ones who are basically enlightening and enlightened, and they're all my heroes. And that's men, women, and theys who expand human consciousness, because love, all you need is love. Boom, boom, all you need is love, love. Love is all you need. And I've known this since I was a little kid. And that's because, again, I got lucky, and let's not drop anything. So let me go get All You Need Is Love, because those lyrics are really, really nice when you feel them and you know them. And when you see people who don't, it's not my business. God keeps telling me not to judge human suffering, and I do. It's called a charge, but see, I don't need to pent it up. I've been processing it since I was a kid. A kid. Like a child, and then an adolescent. And as an adolescent, if you were not in, you were not in. I simply learned how to master the art of equanimity and discernment, and to continue to be a person who stands like this, and when somebody says, I'm not decent enough to be saluted, and now I get to recalibrate like a grown-up versus run off like a teenager would do and be emotionally immature, although it wouldn't really be. But then again, yes, it would be, because I don't need to make it into a big deal. And then again, when people tell me I could be flexible or more speaking better, all of these people who are not actually in their ventral vagal energy wanting to correct the person who has healthy self-worth. Yeah, I don't need correction. I didn't even ask you, but I do understand how you rule. And it's based on other things that I'm not going to get into right now. So there's nothing you can do that can't be done. That's exactly right. Those of us who are committed to being our true self have no failure ever. Like, there's none. Otherwise, I would be disrespecting the miracle of life that God gave me. It's a literal child here who said, yes, Jesus, Holy Spirit, and God, I love you and I choose you because you tell me to do good and it feels right. And I like to be able and be friends and forgive always. It's not hard. Open-hearted inner child that doesn't get broken. It's because, yeah, I'm a human, you're human, we're flawed, crooked, I ain't God. What are you doing? Why are you judging in this way of what? When you're a ventral vagal state person, and that means confident, teenagers don't know how to handle it. I thought it was normal because I was a teenager too. Then I kept growing up. And as a mindfully aware, accountable, regulating person who knows how to use my prefrontal, because I'm not broken again, and even those who are broken can heal, because they're not needing to be fixed. They just can get back to their true self, like the lovely lady that I learned from in Disorganized Attachment and Dissociative Identity Disorder shares. I can't wait for her book to be out, as she got to heal with Dr. Daniel Siegel, and she said, I want people to know that they're not broken, but they're fixable. And what she means is that you can get yourself whole and all your parts to meet, and you can live a good life. So anybody who's smart is going to be stable, mature, adaptive, rational, teachable, and go and get themselves in a state of love inside of their body, which is why mindfulness, mindset, and mindset practices are only going to be successful if you know what's stored here. Otherwise, you might spread rumors about yoga bringing demons out of you because shit came up and you didn't know how to take seriously your own mind, which I wonder who. So when people think shit in the morning, I wonder how they would continue to do that. As I got older, I just noticed college students fucking each other, being not happy about it. And I said, you don't have to, you know that, right? No. Okay, I'm not clear. You're more alone than before. I'm telling you, you don't have to, and you still aren't. Okay, and I didn't know attachment trauma. But you find out that the people who do psychology majors, yes, apparently they don't know how to live from their inner world with self-compassion yet. So it's only once you meet an empowered human being that you'll know that they don't have any toxicity, low frequency. They know exactly how to rub-a-dub-dub, and that's like the Sesame Street, and that's because our body, again, doesn't need repairing. You metabolize the body, mind, and the lovely brain. You metabolize the emotions that come up from the body. The body keeps a score, and the mind is what keeps account, helps you translate. Those stories begin at your 2 years of age. That's why fate and karma are only for the ones who are going to say their inner child subconsciously, and really they're not going to be here because they don't like to hear the truth. That spirit, source, soul, God, all of us are pure love, but that's only if you're connected to Purusha, unconditional love, and to Prakriti, pure energy. So that would mean that you are connected to Akash, which would mean that you have an integrated brain and a restorative embodied self-aware, accountable, regulating life and person and brain and mind and body. And you wouldn't say resiliency. It means that we have been through shit. Every time I hear that, I'm like, okay, so you want a reward for doing emotions and thoughts, which is your human makeup. You want a reward for being a 1-year-old. You want a reward for being a 3-year-old. But again, let me remind you, I'm lucky because I don't need a reward to be Maria. I'm just being Maria from the depths of my soul to the depths of my heart to the depths of myself, because I'm a differentiated self and not this. And so I know self-regulation. This is called securely attached, non-traumatized people. So when we look in the eyes of somebody that is a teenager and they're insecure, we're not going to see a devil. No, there ain't no devil in insecurity. It's called cowards in Patrick Tiahan's world, and I agree with him. But the difference is I actually have the sciences people who explain to me what happened. They got broken because they didn't get a third attunement and repairing ruptures. And so they don't know about their self-acceptance of them being flawed and crooked, but still being children of God who can be kind and children of all. Akash, source, spirit, again, consciousness, scientists look into it, and basically it all comes together. Consilience approach. No, I'm not confusing sciences and spirituality. They all come together. The kingdom of God is within you. Thank you, Jesus. Yes, heaven. It's called restorative, embodied, self-aware people. So no devil. But when I see stagnating energy, I know who it is. It's called the people who have decided their fate based on their karma, based on their 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5, their subconscious, and consistently show yourself. I'm dying to meet you. Are playing superheroes, supervillains, good cop, bad cop, all those action movies and cartoons that I used to love and that today I still love. No, the cartoons I used to make fun of those who are going to stay in the fear group because we have two groups. The split is clear. It's consistently been that love, fear. Nobody is needed, and at the same time, we hope the asteroid doesn't hit us. So when you're going to know that there is nothing you can do that can't be done, nothing you can sing that can't be sung, and nothing you can say, but you can learn how to play the game. It's easy. Yes, the game of life is easy for those of us who love. I love to love, and my baby, he loves to laugh and love and dance and expand and not cast stones. And that's why expanding brains, they have a good time together, and minds and selves and bodies. When you meet securely attached, empowered men and women in days, that's the community here, you're going to know what true love is because they are actually in their ventral energy. So they know their oxytocin gene hormone and they know not to make a big deal, meaning I am a ball and chain when shit hits the fan. It's called we metabolize. It's not called I tell you how to process life. No, I walk with you, next to you. But I regulate in my physiological state of healthy self-regulation because that's called eustress, and I'm smart enough to explain it because I got taught. I didn't need it. I already did it as a kid because Jesus said, Maria, forgive, they don't know. God said, hey, I gave you a gift called life, don't you waste it. And then I saw people wasting it, and I also got told, blessed are those who believe without seeing. There's a heart inside you, like Pacha tells Cusco. I know that too. There is goodness in every person, kindness. But if you don't reparent that inner child, I won't ever see it. But it's okay. I've learned how to deal with the facades. They're just not Lucifer. None of them are. No matter how big or small fear is, it's still the stupid masculine which wastes my time every time I have to encounter it. But it's a waste? No. I learned how to say, no, it's not a waste. They taught you something. How to notice when you find a insecure human being, doesn't matter man, don't matter who it is. They're following Lost Boys, Peter Pan's, Wendy's. Who's your Wendy's? Oh wow, those are your Wendy's. I got it. Great, awesome. Keep following Wendy. It's fun. Have a good time over there. And that's why it's a wrap. Nothing you can make that can't be made, and no one you can save that can't be saved. No, no, no. I'm not a savior. Jesus is the one who came and saved, and he walked a walk and talked a talk. And that's why I look up to him consistently to this day, and Holy Spirit and God. And I know exactly who the betrayers are. And it's called shame, blame, fault, revenge people who don't go and heal their trauma because they decided that they are smarter than Bezel Vanderkolk, Stephen Porges, Janina Fisher, Daniel Siegel, Daniel Fox, and a bunch more names, and they all have proof, and they're continuing to build it because they're smart. And neuroscientists, I found out who Sam Harris is. He's a writer, philosopher, and neuroscientist, the one who tells you what it means to be grounded in reality, which is how we're going to conclude. So when you meet a person who does know that there's nothing you can do, but you can learn how to be you in time, it's easy. That's a person who will say, I want to be myself. And if I say, no, I'm going to go to Patrick Chan because that's the most number one red flag. You don't know how to be yourself and love to be yourself because somewhere along your lines you got told you were crooked. And then when you throw that shit around though, because neutrality and positivity gets seen as crooked, that's not real. But guess what? They don't take ownership of the shit they throw at people who are kind and loving. No, I've seen it again and again and again. I'm always reminded of the stories that I would get told as a kid. When God would knock on someone's door and present to them someone poor, right? And then who's going to be benevolent and then reward them with all this gold? I don't need a reward. That's the right thing to do. Any open-hearted inner child will let you know, why wouldn't I open up the door and help a person? Guess what happens in classes with Sadhguru? This was hilarious, I swear, when I meet children that are teenagers that are annoying me while I'm learning from people who are smart. That's how it feels. You're wasting my time, masculine. Please shut the fuck up is what I would like to say. But my mother taught me that if I can't say something nice, not to say anything at all. And God taught me humility on the whole, stop playing a know-it-all. You don't know everything. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know everything. But these people, they're annoying me, God. And he keeps reminding me not to judge human suffering. That's my charge. It's me feeling you're wasting my fucking time, get out of my room, and learning how can I handle this since it's none of my business in the first place. I'll handle it with ha ha ha. You didn't have to be saluted. Okay, that's how you handle. Krishna Lila, come on in, because that's my funny bone with my ventral energy. Learning how to make fun out of every second of my life because I consciously chose to go out that evening. And anytime I do consciously choose, I take responsibility for my actions. I brought forth my karma, which is I took my 2 feet, my 2 hands, and decided I was going to go somewhere. And that's why it's called conscious lovers. So, securely attached, healthy self-worth, men, women, days, don't waste each other's time because nobody has time to waste. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Hook gets reminded, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Why? Because he's an adult compared to Peter Pan, right? So he knows his mortality is arriving, but he's also a grumpy old man, which is where the people in the protective mode are all going to be as they get old and they become balls and chains to each other. These ancient bullshit stereotypes of men and women growing old, but there are a group of them that do that. They, in fact, will talk to you about how boring it is to grow old together. And I'm thinking, wow, that's not a marriage or a relationship that I would be in. I mean, that's really fucked up. Why'd you get married in the first place? And that's why it's not about monoamory or monogamy or traditional anything of what integrity vows and actively having love is. Because the polyamory community, we get a lot of crap, masochists, whores, what else? Promiscuous. But then again, I should say, when you hear you're not poly enough, or people saying ew polygamy, you're reminded me of why there's insecure people all over the place. So when you got teenagers, all they're doing is trending, and that's the why. So polyamory to me is not something that you would want to engage in as a trend. But then again, that's just because I'm a responsible lover. I'm thinking, how dare you use the word love if you don't have compersion, meaning no matter what happens, I will seek and always want that you are happy in life and fulfilled. That is all. Because otherwise I'm a liar. If I say I love you, but I want to keep you stingy for me, and I will make you miserable, meaning that I don't care what your dreams are, what you want to have in life. No, this is the part. I will immediately be in the I care about what makes you happy, because what is love? What is love? Baby, don't know. It's not about hurt. What is love? Love is kindness. Love is care. Love is talking. Love is easy for those of us who didn't get broken again. If your beliefs are not falsifiable, if there's no scenario that could convince you that your most cherished opinions are in error, then that's proof that you didn't get them by being in contact with reality. So love is where 2 people will want each other's best interest, always, not just sometimes. And that's because my mother taught me what love is. And that's because I heard her and I didn't distort it, because she just said love is not sacrifice. Love is, and you learn by what? So children learn by example. And so yes, sometimes our parents, all of them actually, I'm not a parent and I don't want to be one, are going to be imperfect and flawed just as much as us. Luckily, the ones of us who stay connected to our higher self, those of us who stay open-hearted children, we don't lose that faith. That's why Jesus, I love Jesus. One of the pieces of scripture somebody read that he might have said or not have said, they're always now doubting every piece of shit of everything. Drives me crazy because I'm not good with data like that, but I do know who my smart data people are, so I go to them. And no, it's not on the internet. Nope, it's actual people who I know will know how to say, okay, here's the data, Maria, and here's where I found it. And those are the people I take seriously. And when I'm looking on YouTube, I don't see that, except for where I do, which are why I have the specific channels that I look at. So, long story short, I was trying to share which one of the parts. Now I lost it. But self-aware, secure attachment, functional inner child adults, they know love and attraction because they don't do lust. They're not confused, because they don't have a visceral that's seeking to continue engaging in the unfinished business from their household. They're smart enough to know myself deserves to be with someone who does know that love means you care about my inner and outer well-being. Always, not just sometimes. No sacrifice, no ball and chain. You don't weigh me down, no burden. Nobody has this baggage where I'm going to feel, I'm so sorry, I'm bringing to you my baggage. Excuse me? I didn't understand what no, not that doesn't happen with an empowered feminine because my ventral energy will not attract anybody who's weighed down. The minute that they're weighed down, I'm talking to them from my prefrontal, and you'll notice how they don't like it. That's what I grew as time went by, I said, look, I don't vent. I chose not to. I don't find it productive. It's also unnecessary. You're also, just, dragging your feet. No, I wouldn't say that. I would just say, this is how I approach things. Neutrality and duality. You don't have a position. That's okay. I still approach things this way. You don't have to share with me that. I'm just letting you know this is how I'm going to approach life. So this is in random circumstances. But my point is that the partner thing, yeah, only securely attached people who do care about self and they care about themselves. So they put the mask on. They understand, hey, if I'm not doing healthy, how am I going to carry you when we get older? And we are not perfect again. So imperfection, parents aren't perfect. So are children. We all are. But you know what? Yes, children are stupid. Yeah, they're not taught. They're not stupid. They are untaught like my mother taught me. So any question like smart teachers taught me are not stupid. And the only ones who think that it is stupid to ask questions are the same little children whose poor little whatever happened to them got broken. So I know why nasty comes up. It's a person who doesn't have a completely healed inner child and has the 3-year-old and the 8-year-old and their little pissy pants comes in because there was 1 or 2 or 3 where they were shamed and they felt powerless. And their anger is there to defend them, and they weren't able to at the very 08 codependent. So they felt helpless, hopeless, and all alone. And in fact, that's why I respect their anger, which is why I don't have to correct you. If you want to stay your Cusco self, you stay your Cusco self. I know that that poor inner child is still there alive. That's actually a good thing. But what I also know is that you can get better and not saying that projecting stuff. But there's other soul age groups. I'm in the Enlightenment Soul Age group, so remember that one. And as we conclude, you're going to know true love and attraction when you're a person who actively knows if somebody doesn't care about what fulfills my heart and soul and what makes me happy in all of the different ways, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. However, I say this is who I am. It's not a dress. It's not a suit, though. They're not rigid. It's personality patterns, temperament, your own ability to, again, self-regulate in your ventral energy. That means that I don't depend on you to feel better. I'll feel good. No. I knew that I would. But of course, I'm going to be seeking, if you want a safe haven, secure base, that's the secure attachment figure, which even polyamory, there's going to be at least one that you will. Why? Say I do. Because you talk about it. That's why. And that's why there's also those who instead are not a safe haven, secure base. And that's where platonic comes in. Or it's a secure base, meaning we only share moments of life of what's going on, that's not what's not going on, but we might not be able to be reassuring of our safe haven, meaning of regulating. Okay, so regulating your nervous system at ease means that you feel welcomed, accepted, and that's in all ways, shapes, and forms, which is why perfection does exist in relationships. And when I hear people who say it doesn't, they're all the ones who are not yet physically, emotionally, or mentally mastered. Those of us who are, my higher self, she's right here. So I don't need you in my life. And this is why. If you leave, I will be happy for you because I'm happy for you. This is called compersion. Even as a monoamory person and monogamist, my teenage boyfriend, every step of the way I supported him. And what was really, really sad for me to see in the years that moved forward was every single time, because also as a mystic, and that's where that relational field, so when my clairs were activated, it was at a specific moment in time, 25-ish, 27-ish, and I began immediately perceiving my oversoul. And I knew when I was expanded to more than my oversoul to Earth, and then I knew when I was expanded again to the infinite galaxy and beyond. Again, if you don't believe in mystics, you don't have to, but I am one. And we have the lovely experience, as our Sadhguru shares, of the profound exploration of the miracle of life, which is not only from our 5 senses, but we have perceive beyond it. And the sciences people look into the sphere of consciousness, they just call it a problem. It's not a problem to me because with God, Akash, Holy Spirit, Source, I know all of it. And not in a way of telling it to you. No, I know all of it, meaning I can channel, I can download, I don't prove it. You don't prove shit. And whenever I hear spirituality, I'm going to prove it. Sure you are. The scientists are going to disprove reality. Didn't you hear? Energy's invisible. Apparently, anyone can speak out of their mouth. It all goes. So again, grounded in reality, people, we are bringing it together. I come with spirituality, spiritual, and sciences. I am the mystic mentor, content creator, podcast host here at IHP. You get to be yourself if you want to be. I ain't motivating you. I inspire human potential alongside the other ones who do. You motivate you to be you. And that's because you care to get your 2 hands and 2 feet and say, yes, I do. I do want to be me in my ventral vagal state because I have heard through the grapevine enough of the data that proves it. And when it comes to stereotypes and stigmas and all that bullshit, it's not supposed to be used for gossip. But then again, the societal and relationships whole age group aren't grown up, so they like to use that shit with each other. And there you go. That's why they have a ball and chain. And that's why you continue to hear monogamists and monoamory think that polyamory are unfaithful and that we don't know love, or that trauma, all or nothing thinking. People who are one and one and one and one. They don't know how to do anything beyond three. No, excuse me, two, that's it. Right, wrong. Wow, you're limited. Did you not know, adaptive child part, that there's two and more and three? So black and white thinking, all or nothing, split thinking. Don't have to be a personality disorder. Plenty of people growing up, continuing to be teenagers. Excuse me, you're confusing science. Spirituality says some random human being out of nowhere. There's your adaptive child, because what I say, no, this is what I do. No, because I'm a mystic too. I didn't compare myself to you, but okay. There's your unbridled self-expression, and I'm going to control now because I'm going to wield you to where my data points are, which I'm so familiar with. Again, pause. So this is no, because see, I know Buddha and quantum physics too. Okay, so since there's music, and I allow myself to just ask because I am curious now, what the fuck are you thinking? Because I don't know. And there you go. I'm not a mind reader because I won't be in your brain. I won't be in your mind. I won't be in your body. I'm not the paused self of you. So Peter Pan with Lost Boys, Hook, doesn't matter. Who's your Wendy? Where are your Wendy's? Awesome. You know who mine are? They're not Wendy's. Mine are people who actively have proof the way they give me their data. That's why I know. Then I know the ones who are a little bit in between. And then I know the ones who come with, and so you're able to sift through shit. Why? Because my brain likes to learn things. I also don't taint it because I do know when I am charged, which is why, again, God just reminds me, again, every now and then I get a little bit lonely. Yeah, he reminds me not to judge with my little hissy fit those who choose to stay in the suffering business. And that's why I'm still working on it. As an empowered feminine, I don't have time to waste, and you're wasting it every second of the day. I have had the opportunity. No, not that much. Again, because I consciously choose to invest my time. Once I notice your facade, now I know who you are, and I got to practice with my facade friend how not to be pissing my pants. Because an empowered feminine, all we need is 2, 3. By the time I'm at 5, that's it. I have your poker hand and you're good to go. Have fun, karma and fate. I'm sure you're going to be pleasantly happy, or not, because once somebody's decided this is how I'm going to end, this is the end, my only friend, the end. Wow, seriously, you really think that your fate has been written and your karma? I don't know about. Nope, everything happens for a reason. Every action has a reaction. Everything that's meant to come will always find its way, and guess whose 2 hands and 2 feet participate? And that's why my destiny, yes, a flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, stable brain. You won't know it until you're living it. And the ones who don't want it, they like stories. Meantime, we're going to have some more episodes on our lovely Arcturian light codes, evolutionary downloads, recalling power, future thinking. We don't lose our power. The ones who are inner child adults, the ones who reclaim their power, they will tell you about their story. I can tell you, nobody will have felt powerless if they will have known as an adolescent how to make the choice of I will self-regulate in my ventral vagal state with an open heart, with an open mind, and with an open gut to the fact that when you are unkind to me, I don't do. Let me give you the same coin. That's ridiculous. That would make me a hypocrite. To ask you to be kind to me when I, with intent, will not be kind to you back. Number 1. Number 2, I promised Jesus I would be kind, and God. And number 3, that feels really shitty to be mean to you. You don't represent any physical threats. I don't need to protect myself. I don't need this. And sticks and stones may break my bones, but your words means jack shit. Oh, I might cry, but I'm okay with the fetal position because I'm not afraid of bears and tigers. Oh no, because I'm not living in that time anymore, and I also am okay with being a crybaby because you making it sound like it's something negative makes no sense to a crybaby. I mean, I'm sensitive, but then again, I'm not. But then again, I am. But then again, so are you. And then again, it's not something I want a reward for. And ask God, hey God, can you reward me for crying, please? Can you get the heart doesn't break. The figure of speech of my heart broke and how many times does it have to break? It's like no, it doesn't break. It's a muscle. It does have a memory, and that's why learning about our three brains, the brain, the heart brain, and the gut brain, just saying, it has neuroreceptors or whatever, so you can rewire it, but I don't like to talk about our body, brain, mind, or how being rewired because you're not rewiring yourself. You're not a robot. You're a human being who has a self, a soul. The soul is love, though. The self, though, if it's paused, there's Patrick to your hand so you can unpause it. And the trauma charges are what are going to be there as long as you ignore that. And so when I meet a protective person, they have their faith in humanity and romantic partners broken. So they always think this is going to go bad because it's a feeling, it's not a thought. And if they become their whole self and their body, their mind, and their heart and their brain is integrated, they won't be doing fate or karma anymore. Now we have a flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, stable brain. Now we have a person who's self-aware, accountable, regulating. Now we have a securely attached, functional inner child adult who's ready to know love and attraction. And to know it means that you do understand that to love means I want you to be happy. And that will be always. And that will always be something that is authentically, transparently, with the capacity to speak because empowerment means I have air, water, and food. My basic necessities are here. I am then a member of society and I have a herd. It's called family, friends, da 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 da. I have a career, 24 hours, ain't that much. You consistently build if you're a person who's self-aware. You don't waste your time. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. So when I see grown-ups, and I'm a grown-up now, but I still see these grown-ups. I thought grown-ups are smart. I started to realize they're not. And now I know why. Their past self is a teenager and a grown-up. So as they continue with maladaptive patterns of behavior, drinking, drugging, fucking, and making up excuses of how that's awesome, they also have an inner critic that they don't notice is bullshitting them entirely. Like this mind isn't about the ego. Your ego don't fucking die. Ego death. Every time I hear the spiritual bypassers, I'm like, okay, keep wasting time in your sympathetic. But that's for them to, continue doing. So your ego don't die, your self don't die. It's either you're a higher self because you've chosen to get there, or you are not going to be the higher self, which means that I have a Cusco who's going to make up bullshit as they're interacting with the content. It's also why I am not a person as a marketer that engages with likes and dislikes, an online entrepreneur in the way that others do. I don't need your approval for the content I'm doing. That's not why I'm here. I'm doing content with storytelling, perspectives, food for thought, and building a community of those who want to do mindset, mindfulness, mindset skills, who want to be their self. People who know what they want. No, the content is for an individual and more that has discernment, equanimity, and is pretty much at ease with life and then knows where to find value. And that's exactly where the likes and dislikes just usually, actually, here I need to pause. What I've realized is social media is full of teenagers who just want to use the platform basically because we used to do it in squares out in the open. Now they're just doing it online. I've come to be aware of this as well, and therefore the more they interact in negative ways, the more unsatisfied they are with life, the more they're just, it's like Nutshell Lady. She does great content. I got to see this woman saying, so what are you doing? Are you saying we have to put up with it? And I'm like, dude, it's a panic attack. We all don't like it. Your complaint doesn't mean anything. I said, well, she's just sharing and venting because that's how she feels. Of course, you can understand that. Yeah, that's true. This is how it works when you're an emotionally, mentally, physically mature person who has an ego self and reminds yourself, the world doesn't revolve around my 3-year-old. I forgot. No, I didn't. My thoughts and my emotions are not irrefutable facts. They're not effective realism. Lo and behold, I can share the 3-year-old floor with other people. It's simply called humility with an extra added bonus. This is what self-empowered men, women, and theys do. Mystics or not, sciences or spiritual. That's why IHP is for those people, not for the ones who think that there's a group of us that are more special than others. That is egoic and that is disrespectful to my brothers and sisters and to every single one of those pieces of life out there who, by the way, between love and fear, It breaks my heart when I have to think that we will consistently have the frequency of fear, because I do know it will stay, and fear is what the scaredy cats are, and that's what they'll remain. And I don't need to continue with this because the 3D 4D won't be here, because they're already doing their thing. And that is, I feel good, na 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 na. I knew that I would, na 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 na. Hey, Tom and Jerry, how you doing? Is your ball and chain doing well? Great. Are you having fun as you get older? Awesome. And they stagnate away, and they continue to live life in that way. Like the Zen master who has laundry and tells you that there is no way there's enlightenment. Instead, we do know there is, and look at our lovely Gaia as she continues to move forward, because humans are not broken, nor is intelligence. And any spiritual bypasser who thinks that we are needed for humanity and consciousness to evolve and expand, I mean, really, if you're of spirit, of source, and in oneness, you will know that that is incorrect, meaning none of us are needed, because consciousness lives even in the absence of life form. But obviously it wants to experience itself. So how else? Oh, and remember, please, there are people who are going to try and disprove reality. It's all a matrix. It's all a fake. So we got, again, 3D, 4D with their stories. I'm not in those. I'm in the I love to love, and my baby, he loves to laugh and love and learn and expand and not cast stones. And so, again, self-aware, secure attachment, functional child adults. We are the ones who know love and attraction, and we don't waste time with anyone. And what is nice about knowing how to move from the one to the ones to no one to knowing that the right one, oh, you need to be able to, all you need is love. You need to be able to believe in love. You need to be able to open your heart and be love yourself. And that means you're not going to expect there to be anything bad or negative. Because really, that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you do have those thoughts, you know, okay, I'm afraid, which is actually exactly why conscious lovers talk about things like that. I'm afraid of losing you. I'm afraid. And conversations always go well, because nobody's throwing shit in each other's faces. These are conversations that you take seriously, which is why we have regular check-ins, for example, for the polyamory community. That is something I read from Polywise, and it's a very good suggestion for any one of you who is wanting to build secure attachment figure relationship. And polyfidelity, we talked about that one too, because again, 24 hours is all you got. The reality is, if you're talking to me about love, you're not using your time to do lust, emotionally unavailable, and that means human beings who just play this reward based on actually continuing to be afraid to love and ignoring Patrick Chan so they can heal their inner child, get a good gut online, and stop doing this back and forth shit, which is you're going to grow old and stagnate away, and you're not building. But then again, there are those who will end up with the unfinished business. So that's my joy to share with you all that I have seen throughout the years of my ascension journey. And as we move forward, the ones who have expanded, and so they're doing destiny, and the ones who are doing fate and karma. And for fate and karma, it depends on what they will have decided, but they do, some of them end up with their ball and chain, the relationship soul age group people. The societal soul age group, they definitely end up doing this thing where they're motivated by men and women who say, you've done it all alone, like the Frank Sinatra song of it did it my way, with the same low frequency, because that vessel is like, yeah, I'm strong. And you're not really strong when you're made of ding ding. It's kind of like the armored one from Wizard of Oz, the heart. He didn't have a heart. I mean, everybody has a heart, but if you're not using it, you can't use a heart that's been closed because you don't trust anybody to actually stick around, and you haven't taken the time again to heal, first of all. So emotionally unavailable men, women, and days continue to suffer, but again, some of them end up with the ball and chain. The ones who don't end up saying, I thrived all by myself and I made a difference. And that's why we thank the enamored with themselves, the focused on oneself, the ones who are dull, monkey, and butterfly brains. Again, our brothers and sisters are bountiful. We thank them for keeping a hold of the fear frequency. It's very much important so that love and fear can continue to coexist, and you can continue to have free will, although Robert Sapolsky with Determined says you don't, and so do other people who say self is an illusion and free will is an illusion. And I say, well, I mean, if you really want to be picky with words in that way, no, self is not an illusion. It's a verb. and I'm right here, and how dare you make me invisible? Yeah, no, my soul is part of the spirit and all that, great, yeah, yeah, but then I still have my child years and all of it, and it is a part of me. My ego is a part of me, and I know how to work with my personality patterns, temperament, and my attachment and my whole self, which is why I consistently expand. It's why I'm an infinite higher human consciousness piece of potential who's experiencing pure consciousness incarnate. Yes, so myself is participant. It's not an illusion unless you want to make me out to be a pseudo life person who continues to bask in the stars. And that's why spiritual bypassers are uninteresting to a person like me, because they will take away the power that you have to take ownership of the self you are and do something tangible with your two hands, making it into a philosophy, spirit, spirituality, source. So disengaging from your human experience doesn't help people to understand with the left. Okay, so the psych educators help me to help to tell you where your self is at and how it, yes, your body, if you don't want to use the self, your body is tainted with shit and your soul is in there still. And so again, you needing to make it make sense. No, it's your left mode that needs a way to understand it. So when I hear illusion of self, illusion of free will, no, there's no illusion. That there's a different way we can go on and expand on it, which is also why that Zen master. So I will pick consistently on people who use words, not because I use them correctly. No, I don't. But I understand that, at least for me, I'm here to support you with self-help, personal development, spiritual growth for real, not pretend. And that's because I love to love, and my baby, he loves to laugh and love and learn and expand and not cast stones. And how do you make love tangible? By walking a walk and talking a talk and being supportive as what partners really are, which is for life, which is not a vow that is needing actual any kind of blessing by people who don't know what vows or integrity mean, as they betray what love stands for by making it sound like people, men and women, and theys have to love in the medieval ways in an effort to be what will teach our children how to behave. No, our children learn how to behave by watching. And the children will learn how to self-calibrate by your self-calibration. So if you don't know how to be in your ventral vagal state, well then guess what? You are teaching by walking the planet, the very thing that is trauma, because those who don't know how to self-regulate in their ventral vagal state are traumatized, and that's because they don't metabolize that which comes up, but they have a way to find a group like the flat earthers and hang out like teenagers. And so again, karma and fate, not a bad thing. The in protection mode fear people are going to continue hanging out. The ones of us in the love and in connection are going to continue hanging out, and that's what has consistently happened, which is why there's no big whoop to do, but at the same time we're still having a good time. Why? Well, because there's diversity. That's the whole point. And we get to create conversations. So please remember, I don't do the better or worse. No, for better, for worse, for sickness and health, for yes, all that, yes. And that means that I care about making sure, you know, inner and outer well-being. And that's because otherwise I would be lying to you. And me saying I love you, but not noticing how that, all of that, again, liar, pants on fire. So self-regulation in a way of self-agent with healthy self-worth, self-acceptance, flaws, imperfections. Nobody's perfect, but no, there is perfection, yes, in relationships when you care about each other, because Manny, Diego, and Sid come together. Pacha and Cusco come together. They all become a basic Pacha because they learn how to be able to be functional child adults. So we have nice conversations, and that's because of being able to not be afraid to say when we're afraid. And that's why it's nice to have check-ins with each other. For those of you who, again, are long-term partners, this is why Terra Real is out there for any of you who have a challenge expressing what you are, what you want, and da-da. Those of us who don't have a challenge, that's the part of why there's not anything that can go wrong, because I'm present, and that's what a whole self is in aliveness. And yep, take me as I am, no baggage. Nope, just speaking truth all the time with an open heart that gets to continue to expand. And that's because our lovely cycle, we're not doing that which is karma or fate. Nope, we are doing that which is dharma. And so the ones of you who are here, welcome aboard. I know who you are. No, I don't, but I will gladly meet you. We'll be back with some more. Have a good one.